Alright guys, welcome back. So today I got this 42-inch LG LED TV and it comes on but there's no picture. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. I got the remote here in my hand. If you look at the very bottom right corner, this is a touchpad display. I'm going to click the remote. Comes on, but there is no picture. And so what I believe what it's doing is actually clicking off. I think it's clicking off after I turn it on. And I use the old trusty flashlight move. And I don't see anything on the screen that will indicate that this TV has bad backlights. Alright, shows some type of image. I'm going to click it again. Nothing. No picture at all. Totally black screen. So let's take this bad baby apart and see what the fluck is going on.
Chi-Town's finest.
Okay. If we look at the sticker, you can see the model number right here is a 42, which stands for 42-inch. LE5400, and the TV was manufactured in 2010, so a little bit over 12 years old. And another note that I want to tell people is that when you order main boards for LGs, always go by this suffix UC-AUSWLHR. So you have like a UC, UB. Anytime you're ordering a main board, always make sure that you have the correct suffix, okay? Because there are different versions, different models, so on and so forth. So pretty much looks pretty easy. This does have a metal back, but this is actually, believe it or not, and the screen almost feels like it's glass, but believe it or not, this is a LED TV. This is not a plasma, okay? It's one of the nicer models. So we'll just start off with, first of all, taking the stand off. I already got a few screws out. 4 screws. Stands pretty heavy, so make sure that you hold it in place so it won't fall out. Four screws, comes right out. Also a screw here where the power cord is at. You pull this off also. Okay. As you can see, this is a pretty sophisticated set, right? This is a little higher end model that they made back in 2010. This one is edge lit. As you can see, these are the backlights, right? Going into the TV. The lights are on top, right? Overall lights, 2 sets of lights, 2 strips of lights on top. Okay, it's not in a backlit, so they're on top and they shine down through a screen. And you can see there is that we have a driver. This is the LED driver board right here. Okay. And this is not use a TCON board because the TCON circuit is built onto the main board. This is probably a TCON processor IC and the main IC. And if we look down under that metal shield, there's no TCON board there. Those connectors go all the way down to the LCD panel, right? That you're using this bracket here for the stand, to support the TV. That's it. So anytime I see a set like this and it doesn't come on, it's a black screen, and I don't have any image using a flashlight, the first thing I always do on these LGs is I check for the backlight on signal, okay? when I turn it on, because in most cases, if I don't have the backlight on signal, then it should be very simple. We're just gonna heat up my processor IC or the micro IC chip because that backlight on signal is coming directly from the chip. But anyway, let me just show you on the legend. Okay, so we'll take this wire, this plug here that is going to the main board, okay? And we should be able to find our legend for the pinouts. Right there, right? Hold it steady, 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 okay? Okay, and we have our power supply on, which is coming from the main board, okay? 20 volts, 3.5 volts, vertical sync. I don't see a backlight on, but I do see a DRV on right there. Driver on, same thing, backlight on, okay? Or that's basically shooting the signal to turn on the driver circuit for the LEDs. So, let's just see what we get, okay? So, matter of fact, let's look. And the power supply on, which is the very top, right here, that's usually the only wire that is labeled a different color. Could be black, could be blue. Most cases it's blue, could be red. This one is blue, okay? So what I'm gonna do is turn it on and we'll do some voltage checks. Okay, so what I did is I actually found the wire for the driver on. Okay, and I just put a red mark on it. So it's gonna be kind of tricky to get to it, so I'm gonna have to use some pointy leads on my meter, all right, to stick it up in there and see what I get, okay? So let's see what we got here. My meter's in DC volts, right? And I should be getting around anywhere between, I don't know, 2.7 to 5 volts. So I'm gonna ground my meter. Anywhere metal on the chassis should be ground, should be fine for ground. I'll ground it right here. It's nice and secure. Okay, that should be ground. And if you want, you can always double check it, put your meter in beat mode. You can always double check one of the grounds on the plug. Let's see, on top, third one over. Okay, so that is ground. Okay. DC volts. First thing I'm gonna do is just to double check, make sure the TV's on. I'm gonna put my lead and power supply on. Okay, so that is a signal coming from the main board to turn on the rest of the rails on the power supply, such as this 20 volt rail and a 3.5 volt rail. And there's also, looks like a 12 volt rail also. All right, so let's plug it in. Okay, I have it on power supply on, or it says power on. That is the blue wire, okay, that stands out. And then I wouldn't know if the TV set is on. So this is obviously our remote infrared detector right here. So I'm gonna click it, clicks. So we have the 3.3 power on voltage. So that means that we should also have, so we got a 12 volt rail down here. Okay, 12 volts. And looks like we got a 20 right up under that. Right next to the power on, 21 volts, okay? So that pretty much lets me know that my power supply is pretty much working, all right? Now what I'm gonna do is go down here to this red wire and stick it in, and I have absolutely nothing. Matter of fact, we turn it back off. Okay, turn it back on. That is 0.04 that is way too low to turn on the driver circuit. Okay? That's on. What about the power supply on? Oh, I'm sorry, that's a 20 volts. Power supply on, 3.3. It is steady. So we have a problem on, obviously, our main board is not sending the driver on or backlight on signal to turn on the backlights, period. Okay? And the reason that we don't see any image on the screen because the voltage is probably used for something else also. But it's missing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up the microprocessor on the main board up under this heatsink. All right. So let's begin. We have to pull the board out and take off this heatsink, and then use hot air, heat it up for about 3 minutes, and we'll see what happens. Okay. So first I'm going to do is obviously I'm going to have to squeeze these tabs on the bottom of the board. So I have to pull the circuit board out. So I'm going to unplug these ribbon connectors, going to our panel. Okay, just unclip them, clip it up, and just kind of lift up on it, and it should come right out. There we go. There we go. Being very careful not to damage or bend these connectors on the end, the metal connectors, contact points. Okay, I'm going to push this in on both sides, pull this wire out that's going to our power supply board. Same plug we were checking. We're checking for our backlight on, and obviously we got one going to the keypad and the speakers, and that's it. Make sure when you install this that you put all of the screws back, okay, because some of these are grounding the board to the chassis. Comes right up, and as you can see, these are our tabs holding down our heatsink over our microprocessor. So I just need to get some like needle nose pliers and kind of push, squeeze, push, and pull on the other side. There we go. There's one pin that came all the way out. It's got a little spring on it. Make sure that when you put it back, the spring is still on the pin. Okay. Some of these are gonna be a little stubborn. Just be careful that you don't get too forceful and crack the board. Definitely do not want to do that. Otherwise, that is it. New board time, right? Okay. And one more there. See, there's two that came out. One last one. Voila. Okay. That's our cover. Okay, so this is a microprocessor. I'm just going to take this off here. This little pad. Try not to break it because I'm actually going to put that back on, right? And that is a micro. Any micro that looks like that is suspect to having bad connections up under it. All right, so let's heat that up and see what we get. Okay, so I put a couple screws back in the board. I got my hot air station. I'm going to set it. I'm going to turn the air down to about 50%. Okay, and I'm going to set the temperature to about 400 degrees Celsius. I don't want it too hot because I don't want to damage the processor, or I don't want the processor to, because it actually will slide off. Okay, so, and we don't want to take any components around there off either. So I have to do this very carefully. I mean, worst case scenario is if, you know, I just have to get another main board, right? If I damage it. But anyway, pick it up. Okay, try not to get too close to the board. Use a little pressure every once in a while. Alright, I'm gonna let that cool. Okay, so I got my main, I put all the screws back in the main board, got everything plugged back in, our two connectors going to our driver, our panel, connector going to our power supply board, and these two down here. Everything's plugged back in. One thing I didn't do was put on back on the heat shield and the pad, but I just want to see, I got my lead and the driver on wire, okay? And let's go ahead and plug it in. Keep our fingers crossed. It clicked, it's coming on, yep, there it goes. That's our 3 volts. And as you can see, we have backlight shining through the TV. Right there, see? I'm gonna unplug it. Plug it back in. Clicks on. Booyah. Backlight. Back in action. Let me just carefully remove my meter so I can check out the picture. Make sure I didn't do any damage to anything else on the main board to affect the picture, right? And let's see what we get. Well, there it goes. It's a touchpad, so let me see if I can find the menu button. I can't see. Here it goes right here. There it goes. Voila. Back in business, my friends. Back in business. Okay, unplug my TV. Put my pad back on. Center that right on top. And guys, if you want, if the pad gets tore up, you can always use some thermal compound, or what do they call that stuff? Arctic silver, right? Thermal paste. And I'm just gonna align my shield back up. And this will be really easy right here, because I'm gonna do is align it up. Right? And put these, align these holes up and put these pins right through there. See? Okay. Last one. That's it. It's not going anywhere. It is flush. Do not forget to put that back on. Okay, guys, let's put it back together. And I think we are done. Okay, guys, the test of time. Plug it in, it should automatically click right on. There we go. Life is good. I think my camera's doing something to the TV. Life's good, LG. Looks like we are in good shape. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching the video. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and make sure that you do subscribe. Until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Big Dog out.